And now, Lictus Oil and Propane and Clymer presents Clymer Sherman Panama Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. And now let's head to the field for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play.
And welcome into a beautiful day here in Clymer, New York, as we get ready for another CSP Wolfpack baseball game. Today, the opponent is Cassadaga Valley, and a very exciting CCAA Division II game on tap. The Wolfpack currently tied for second place with Brockton in Division II, and Cassadaga Valley sitting in 7th position in standings in CCAA Division II play with a 1-4-1 record in league and a 1-5-1 record overall. Meanwhile, the Wolfpack 3-2 overall, 3-1 in league, and we know that one in-league loss was to Frewsburg. That was the second game of the season, and really only the third or fourth time outside, really, for the Wolfpack. Their first loss of the season to Salamanca, out there at Salamanca, literally day 2 outside. So not a whole lot to see in those first couple losses. Since then, though, the Pack has really kind of turned it around and been a very offensive baseball team, getting things done in the last few games really effectively with the bats, and getting pretty solid pitching from Bryce Hinsdale and Tate Katniss, and not really having to go too deep into the pen, beating Chautauqua Lake and Westfield handily heading into this game against Cassadaga. Lineups for today's game for Cassadaga: hitting first and playing second base is Wynn Noggle. Hitting second and catching is Swanson. Hitting third and playing shortstop is Hayward. Hitting fourth and pitching is Kroll. Hitting fifth and playing first base is Olmsted. Hitting sixth and playing third base is Testa. Hitting seventh and playing center field is Zahan. Hitting eighth and playing left field is Brown. And hitting ninth and playing right field is Penhollow. For the Wolfpack today, leadoff spot, same guy it always is, Berchanowski. He'll lead off for the Pack and he'll catch today. Bryce Hinsdale, the pitcher, will hit second. Tate Katniss will hit third. He's playing shortstop today. Andrew Spiesman in that cleanup spot playing third base. Isaiah Burkholder hits fifth from the center field position. Brady Phelps from left field will hit sixth. McCaleb Anderson plays right field, hits seventh. Mason Moore is going to DH in the 8th spot. Mason Groders will be playing first base. And Johnny Abers will be the second baseman, hitting in the 9 hole. Today's lineups all ready to go, and quick meeting here on the home plate dirt to make sure everyone is on the same page before we get started. And as I said, an important CCAA Division II matchup, and Frewsburg beating this Cassadaga team last night. And the Wolfpack will try to have that same momentum tonight as they pitch Bryce Hinsdale, whose ERA is under 2 on the season so far. Ready to get things started here as the Wolfpack prepares to take the field for the top of the first. We're going to take a quick word from our sponsors here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning are the premier sponsors of Clymer Sherman softball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream. Located at 147 East Main Street in Corry, they offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. We thank Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning for their support of Wolves softball coverage.
Support for coverage on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Sherman Livestock at 4150 Sherman Mayville Road. For more information, call 716-499-1362 and on Facebook.
Coverage on the Channel 98.9 sports stream is provided in part by Whiteland Surveying in Clymer, providing land surveys for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in New York and Erie, Warren, and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania. Phone 716-499-8410.
And welcome back in here to beautiful day in Clymer, New York, as the Wolfpack finishing up, getting ready to start this first inning. And the leadoff batter about to step in for Casadega. That's Windnagel, the second baseman. Casadega, as we mentioned, off to a bit of a rough start to start the season for them. And we'll get this thing underway now. So Casadega's rough start, a 20-0 loss to Faulkner, a 16-4 win over Pine Valley, a 24-1 loss to Brockton, a 21-11 loss to Maple Grove, an 11-1 loss to Westfield, and then a 14-0 loss to Frewsburg last night. It is game time, though. And Bryce Hinsdale will take a look at Windnagel, and here's the first pitch of the game. Called ball. And the count is 1-0. Hinsdale's pitch. Outside for ball 2. Here's the pitch. And they'll call that high for ball 3. Hinsdale behind 3-0 in this count. He's working quickly. Here comes the pitch. Called strike on the outside edge. Count goes to 3-1. Bryce shakes off the sign. Here's the 3-1 delivery.
Ooh, right there.
Strike call, and the count goes full. Full count. Bryce shakes off the first call. Here's the pitch. Swung on and knocked down in front of the plate. Fielded cleanly by Burchanowski, and the throw to first is in time. So Burchanowski makes the play in front of the plate, and the first batter is retired. That'll bring up Swanson, the catcher. Oh, they're going to call that a foul. That's not an out. Called that one back as a foul off his foot, even though it bounced in front of the plate. That pitch is outside, and he'll walk the batter.
Nice pitch.
All right, so the strikeout now brings up Swanson. Here's the pitch. Foul ball back over the backstop. So the count now 0-1. Called ball on that pitch.
Nice pitch.
There's a nice pitch there for a strike. And the count is 1-2. So strikeout to Windnagel, and now ahead 1-2. Here's the pitch from Hinsdale. Outside for ball 2. Here comes the pitch. Bounced, and they'll walk the batter. And that'll bring up Hayward, the shortstop, hitting the 3-hole. Hinsdale checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Waiting for the pitch now. Here it comes. Swung on, fouled off to the right side. And the count is 0-2. An 0-2 count for Hayward. Runner on first and one away. High pitch. There's the throw from Burchanowski. And Abers can't hold on. The runner's safe at second. So Swanson advances to second. Nice throw down from Burchanowski. Almost got him. But the throw caught Johnny Abers a little off guard and bounced off of his glove. 1-2. Outside for the ball. And the count is 2-2. 2-2 count. Swanson on second. Hayward battling with Hinsdale. Here's the pitch. Outside, and the count goes full. The Cassadaga dugout very animated. Hinsdale ready to go now. Here's the pitch.
Nice pitch.
Called strike, and that sits Hayward down. 2 strikeouts so far here in the first inning for Bryce Hinsdale. And, of course, a walk to Swanson. That's the runner on second. So 2 away as the pitcher, Crowell, steps in. Hinsdale's first pitch to him. Low and inside for ball 1. Hinsdale working quickly. Back on the mound and ready to go here with the 1-0. Checks the runner at second, and here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. One the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. Hinsdale ready to go. Crowell now back in the box. He'll check the runner at second, and Hinsdale comes home with it. Big swing and a miss by Crowell. 4 batters, 3 strikeouts, and we're on to the bottom half of the first here in Clymer after a quick word from our sponsors here on the 98.
Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning are the premier sponsors of Clymer Sherman softball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream. Located at 147 East Main Street in Corry, they offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. We thank Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning for their support.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
Studio B, indie alternative music, SoCal style with me, Dave W. Phillips. New music and artists from around the world. Sundays at 7 p.m., right after the old folks have gone to bed. Right here on Channel 98.9.
It's party time. Woohoo!
Keep it a secret.
Clymer Sherman softball coverage is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354.
Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning are the premier sponsors of Clymer Sherman softball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream. Located at 147 East Main Street in Corry, they offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. We thank Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning for their support.
Clymer Sherman softball coverage is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse. Now open for the season Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolves from Troyer's Greenhouse.
School sports.
And we welcome you back into Clymer, bottom of the first here, after a very efficient inning from Bryce Hinsdale to get things started. 3 strikeouts in the first, top of the first for him. Burchanowski set to lead off for the Wolfpack here. Casadega's infield all talking on the mound right now with their coach. And their pitcher, Crowell, about to get started with the top of the Wolfpack lineup here. So as I mentioned previously, the Wolfpack bats have been very efficient the last couple weeks. We'll see if they can keep that going.
Let's get a rip here now, buddy.
And Gavin Burchanowski will try to get things started from the leadoff roll. Burchanowski now in the box. Crowell ready to pitch. And here's the first pitch at the bottom of the first. Outside for ball 1. And it looked like that one came off, when it came off Crowell's fingers, it was already breaking to the outside anyway, but he aimed on the outside edge, so the break took it 1.5 feet, 2 feet outside of the plate. Here's the 1-0.
Good eye.
Outside again for ball 2. And it's a 2-0 count now to Burchanowski. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Nice little breaking ball there from Crowell. And the throw back from the catcher gets past him, so he'll run that down as the catcher fixes his gear. And we're ready to get back to baseball. Count is 2-1. That pitch is low, and the count is now 3-1. Catching for Casadega is Swanson. Tried to block that one in the dirt, but it did get through. Crowell ready to throw the 3-1. Here's the pitch to Burchanowski. Swung on and missed, and the count goes full. Hinsdale on deck, cat knees in the hole for the Wolfpack. Burchanowski with a full count here. Here's Crowell's pitch. Swung on and missed. And Burchanowski goes down swinging to start this one off. That'll bring up the lefty Bryce Hinsdale. As we mentioned, pitching pretty efficiently there in the first inning, getting 3 strikeouts. Bryce now ready to go. Crowell's first pitch to him, a high strike. .21 pitches in the first inning for Bryce Hinsdale. Not a terrible start to a game. He awaits the 0-1 now from Crowell. He gets a piece of that one, going to go towards center field and drop in there for a base hit to shallow center. Nice little single there, and the hot bat continues for Bryce Hinsdale. That'll bring up Tate Cadney's with a runner on first and 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Andrew Spiesman on deck in that cleanup hitter role. And Cadney's will try to advance Hinsdale here. Hinsdale also quick base runner, could potentially take off and try and steal second here. Crowell thinking that, checks the runner, throws high. They're going to try and throw him at second, and Bryce is in there before the ball even comes to the bag safely with a nice steal of second base. And everyone on the diamond pretty much knew Bryce was going to steal second there, but there was nothing that the Casadega catcher Swanson could do. When that ball came in over the batter's head, he had to step around Tate Cadney's to make the throw to second. Crowell checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Inside, and they got a good throw to third. They would have had Bryce, but the throw gets past the third baseman. Now Bryce turns and heads for home, and the Wolfpack takes the lead. So an error on the third baseman there allows Bryce to come on home. And now Tate is ahead in the count, 2-0. Caddies await Crowell's pitch. Crowell ready now. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and fouled back into the backstop. And it's 2-1. Two-one pitch from Crowell. Way outside. Ball 3. So now 3-1 for the Cassadaga pitcher, who's already given up a quick run to Bryce Hinsdale. Hinsdale reaches by single, steals second, steals third, and then steals home on an error. So that one won't count as a steal, but 2 stolen bases on that. And a walk now for Tate Katniss. So you put a runner on first with 1 out and 1 in, and Andrew Spiesman coming up to bat in the cleanup role. Isaiah Burkholder on deck for the Wolfpack. 1-0 baseball game here in the bottom of the first. Katniss on first, and Spiesman now in the box. Crowell comes set. Here's the pitch. Katniss takes off. No throw. He'll steal second. Spiesman ready to step back in now with a runner in scoring position. He's ready. Crowell checks Katniss at second. He's going to throw back to second, and Tate's back in plenty of time. Tate retakes his lead off second. Spiesman back in the box. Crowell checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Spiesman, big swing and a miss there. Andrew Spiesman. Been a hot bat for the Wolfpack. A lot of RBIs in the last 3 games. Here's the pitch to him. He swings, and that's going to be a strike. And the play at third is just behind Katniss. He'll pick up his second steal of the inning. So 4 steals this inning already for the Wolfpack. Hinsdale stole 2 bases and then were scored by error, and now Tate stole 2 bases as well. Spiesman now with a runner on third and 1 away. That one almost hit him in the head. Ball 2 there. Had Spiesman not pulled himself back, that one would have hit him right in the middle of the helmet. 2-2 count now. Here's the pitch. Spiesman gets a piece of that one back over the backstop, and the count will remain the same. Spiesman an opportunity for an RBI here if he can get a piece of the baseball. Put it in play, and he will score Katniss, no doubt. Here's the 2-2 to him. Behind him and actually hit the bat. And it ends up being a foul tip. So 6 pitch at bat already. We'll get ready for pitch number 7 here. Count still 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed by Spiesman. He'll go down swinging.
All right, let's go, Burkholder. Take it for a ride, buddy.
Isaiah Burkholder stepping in now with 2 out. 1 on third and 1 in here in the first. Burkholder, the center fielder, takes a cut at the first pitch. Can't get it. It'll get past the catcher, but Katniss decides to stay at third. And it's 0-1 the count for Isaiah Burkholder. Brady Phelps on deck for the Wolfpack. Here's the pitch to Burkholder, called strike 2. And it's 0-2. Kroll working pretty quickly now. Comes set, checks the runner at third. Here's the pitch. Way over the batter's head, and the runner's going to take off. That's Katniss. He's going to get to the plate, and he will be safe. Very tight play there at the plate. Katniss gets under the tag from the pitcher, and there's 2 runs in now for the Wolfpack. And Kroll was there and had the ball in time, but his tag came in really about the shin, and by the time he got the tag applied, Tate Katniss' foot was at home. A 1-2 count for Burkholder. 2 out, 2 in here in the first. Gets a piece of that one back into the backstop, and he'll keep this battle going. Kroll ready now. Burkholder awaits the 1-2. Here's the pitch, and that one's behind him. Count now 2-2. Well, the umpire says 1-2, so he can't. That pitch behind Burkholder as well. So a 6 pitch at bat again. We'll see what pitch number 7 does. Here's Kroll's pitch. Called strike 3, and that'll end the inning, but not before the Wolfpack put up 2 and take a 2-0 lead here on Cassadaga Valley. We'll get back to this in the second inning right after a word from our sponsors.
Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning are the premier sponsors of Clymer Sherman softball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream. Located at 147 East Main Street in Corry, they offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. We thank Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning for their support.
Clymer Sherman softball coverage is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse. Now open for the season Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolves from Troyer's Greenhouse.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
And welcome back into Clymer. 2-0 the score as the Wolfpack put 2 on the board in the first, thanks to a single from Bryce Hinsdale. It's 2 stolen bases and a score by error, and then a walk by Tate Katniss, and then 2 stolen bases and then a score on a wild pitch. First pitch from Hinsdale to Olmstead is outside. Olmstead, the first baseman.
Nice pitch.
Big swing and a miss there for Olmstead. Olmstead hitting in the 5 hole for Cassadaga. Here's the pitch to him. Swung and a miss. And the count 1-2 now to Olmstead. Bryce already ready to go. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and he sends Olmstead back to the dugout. Testa, the third baseman now, stepping in for Cassadaga Valley. Hinsdale's first pitch to him, called strike. Nice swing there from Testa, but a little early, and Bryce gets that one past him. Next pitch, called strike 2. Bryce quickly ahead 0-2 here to Testa. Here's the pitch, high for ball 1. That one seemed to get a little bit away from him. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Strike 3. Zahan, the center fielder now, with 2 outs here in the second. Here's the first pitch to him.
Nice pitch.
Strike one. 0-1 to Zahan. Swing and a miss, and now it's 0-2. Here's the pitch. Low for ball one. Hinsdale's ready. Swung and fouled off. Zahan trying to stay alive as he's behind 1-2 here with 2 outs in the second. Hinsdale's pitch. High for ball two. And the count is 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Fouled off to the left side. So 2 quick outs on strikeouts, and now Zahan making this at bat a little bit of a battle. Hinsdale's ready. There's the pitch. Swung and a miss, and he'll sit down, the third batter of the inning, and we'll head back to a word from our sponsors after a 1-2-3 inning from Bryce Hinsdale.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
Support for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent, serving the Wolfpack listening area and all of Chautauqua County with real estate services for buyers, sellers, vacation rentals, and all relocation needs. For more information on how to get your move going, Tina can be reached at 716-397-7790.
Where do my friends and other students find their voice? We find our voice through the performing arts, along with millions of other high school students. By expressing yourself in a role on stage, through an instrument, or at the debate podium, the performing arts give us freedom to find ourselves, to find our place. The stage is where I can play, perform, and compete with my friends.
Performing arts at your school is where creativity meets courage. Encourage the students in your life to find their voice through the performing arts.
And welcome back into Clymer, a 2-0 ball game as we head to the bottom of the second. And leading off for the Wolfpack will be the 6 hitter, that's Brady Phelps. Caleb Anderson on deck and Mason Moore in the hole. Phelps playing left field and ready to go as the infield conference breaks up for Casadega. As we mentioned, they gave up 2 runs in the first, a single to Bryce Hinsdale, 2 stolen bases and an error later, he was in, and then a walk to Tate Catney's, 2 stolen bases and a wild pitch later, and he was in. First pitch to Brady Phelps is a ball. And the count 1-0. Kroll comes set. Here's the pitch. Outside for ball 2. And again, much like the first pitch of the game, that one was already breaking and was thrown outside of the strike zone to begin with, so really far outside. 2-0 the count now. Here's the pitch to Phelps. Down in the dirt, and the count is 3-0. Swanson chases that ball down, gets it back out to the mound. And Kroll's ready for the 3-0 pitch. Here's the pitch to Brady Phelps. Called strike on the outside half. And the count goes to 3-1. Kroll's pitch. Way outside, and Phelps will take his base. That'll bring up McCaleb Anderson.
Let's take her for a ride, kid.
He plays right field and have a chance to get something done here with a runner now on first. Pitcher now ready. Here's the pitch to Anderson. Nearly hit him. Ball one. So Kroll coming off a little bit wild here. Trying to rein it in and keep things under control with a runner on first. Here's the pitch. Called strike. And Phelps took off, no throw. He'll get to second safely. "27 pitches in the first inning for Kroll. That one's fouled off. And Phelps will get to third safely. Got past Swanson, and by the time he ran it down, Phelps was already there. No reason to throw the ball to third. So the runner now in scoring position. And McCaleb Anderson will hope to drive him in. 1-2 the count to Anderson. The pitch over his head. And the count's 2-2. Phelps can a nice lead off third. Here's the pitch to Anderson. He swings and misses, and he'll go down swinging for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Moore, the DH. Mason Moore stepping in. One out, one on third. Here's the first pitch to Moore. Called strike on the outside half. Johnny Abers on deck for the Wolfpack. Here's the pitch. Moore swinging a miss, and he's behind 0-2. Phelps still hoping to get off third here. Here's the pitch. Called ball. And Moore did start to swing, check his swing, and didn't break his wrist, so that one stays a ball. 1-2 count now. Here's the pitch. Moore takes a cut of the outside pitch, misses, and he'll go down swinging as well. And that'll bring up Johnny Abers hitting the 9-hole. Abers now in the box. He's 0 for on the season. First pitch to him. Brushes him back with an inside pitch. And it's 1-0.
Johnny, take it for a ride, bud.
Brady Phelps on third, but 2 outs since he got there. And Johnny Abers will try to drive him in. The 1-0 to Abers now. Outside for ball 2. Phelps takes off. He's going to get to the bag. He is safe. And a third run is in. And Johnny Abers ahead 2-0 in the count. The Wolfpack extends their lead to 3-0. And we'll wait for the umpire to clean off the plate.
All right, Johnny, we'll make some contact here, buddy.
Here's the pitch to Abers. Outside. Called strike on the outside half. 2-1 now the count. The pitch. And that one's behind Abers. They'll say it hit him, and he'll hit by pitch. Puts him on base. And we'll bring up the top of the lineup. So Berchanowski up now. With 2 out, 1 in, and 1 on here in the second.
All right, Birch, let's go, buddy.
3 errors so far by Casadega have produced 3 Wolfpack runs. And Burchanowski now ready to go. Throw back to first. Not in time to get Johnny Abers. He's back cleanly. The pitch. And that's going to be a strike to throw to second. Abers in there safely. Burchanowski behind 0-1. Abers now in scoring position on second.
All right, Birch, take it for a ride, bud.
The pitch. Outside for ball one. They tried to get Abers moving, but he heads back to second before the catcher can make a throw. Swanson really wants to get the pick off, but nothing going there for him on that. Kroll now with the 1-1. He'll throw it back to second instead, and Abers is in there safely. Johnny does a good job of getting back, and everything stays the same.
All right, Gavin, let's go, buddy.
Burchanowski, 1-1. Here's the pitch to him. Over his head, and the count goes to 2-1. Gavin ready now. Abers takes a nice lead off second. Here's the pitch. Burchanowski swings and cannot connect.
Right, go, Gavin.
And the count's 2-2. So a 2-2 count now with 2 outs. Phelps in, and Abers on second. Kroll checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. And it's a drop.
Go, 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 go.
And Abers is going to come home. So a drop, strike 3. Gets Burchanowski to first. Another error for Casadega.
All right, Hinsdale, let's go, buddy.
And that brings up Bryce Hinsdale. He singled back in the first. Now he'll come with a runner on second. That's Burchanowski. Two outs. First pitch, and he gets a piece of it to second. He's going to run. The throw to first is in time, and that will end the inning. But not before the Wolfpack add 2 more. They lead 4-0 here at the end of 2 on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning are the premier sponsors of Clymer Sherman softball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream. Located at 147 East Main Street in Corry, they offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. We thank Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning for their support of Wolves softball coverage.
Support for coverage on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Sherman Livestock at 4150 Sherman Mayville Road. For more information, call 716-499-1362 and on Facebook.
Coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Whiteland Surveying in Clymer, providing land surveys for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in New York and Erie, Warren, and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania. Phone 716-499-8410. Find them online at mwhitepls.com. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Whiteland Surveying for their support.
Corry's only locally operated radio station is Channel 98.9. With your Erie weather, your favorite personalities.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday.
You see today local news, entertainment, and information around the clock. And Corry's modern rock. Channel 98.9, your one radio station.
And welcome back in here to a beautiful sunny day in Clymer, New York, as the Wolfpack have jumped out early to a 4-0 lead on Casadega as we get ready to start the third inning here. Leading off for Casadega Valley will be their number 8 hitter, Brown. He plays left field. And Penn Hollow, the 9 hitter, will be in the hole, or on deck, I'm sorry. And Casadega, so far 6 strikeouts in this game. First pitch from Hinsdale is a ball. Second pitch from Hinsdale, also a ball. One the count now. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. Brown behind 1-2 here in the top of the third. 4-0 Wolfpack. He's swing and miss, and he'll go down swinging. That'll bring up Penhollow, the 9-hitter. He plays right field for Cassadaga Valley. And the Cougars right fielder now in the box to face Bryce Hinsdale. First pitch, called strike. Nice pitch right down the middle from Hinsdale. Here's the next one. Strike at the top of the zone, and it's 0-2. That pitch is high for the first ball. So through 2 innings, Bryce was at 36 pitches. Meanwhile, his opponent, Crowell, was at 51. So quite a nice lead there in the pitch count. Here's the next pitch from Bryce. Hit towards second. It'll bounce, fielded by Avers, thrown to first, and that will be the second out of the inning. A 4-3 play in the infield, and quickly 2 away here for Cassadaga in the third. Back to the top of their lineup, Windnagel, the second baseman. He steps in now. And Hinsdale's ready to work. Here comes the first pitch to him. Nice pitch for a strike. And it's 0-1. Next pitch. Outside for ball 1. Hinsdale working quickly. Here's the 1-1. Swung and a miss. And it's 1-2. 1-2 from Bryce.
There it is.
Called strike 3, but it is a drop strike 3, and Windnagel will reach on the drop strike 3. Swanson, the catcher, will be up next for Cassadaga Valley. Windnagel struck out in the first. He strikes out there, but reaches on the drop strike 3. Here's the pitch. Fouled back. And it's 0-1. Groder showing the glove to Hinsdale at first in case he wants to try to make a play on the runner. He'll come home instead. And that's strike 2 to Swanson. Hinsdale checks the runner, fires. That one's hit towards center field and will drop in right center for the first hit of the game for Cassadaga Valley. That double will potentially score a runner. The play at second, he was safe, but the play at the plate does get the runner. Very bizarre turn of events there, but the runner thrown out at home. 3 outs in the third, and that'll end the inning for Cassadaga. We'll take a quick word from our sponsor before the bottom half of the third.
Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning are the premier sponsors of Clymer Sherman softball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream. Located at 147 East Main Street in Corry, they offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. We thank Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning for their support.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days, I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
Studio B, indie alternative music, SoCal style with me, Dave W. Phillips. New music and artists from around the world. Sundays at 7 p.m., right after the old folks have gone to bed. Right here on Channel 98.9.
It's party time. Woohoo!
Keep it a secret.
Plymouth.
So welcome back to CSP Baseball on the 98.9 Sports Stream. I'm Josh Hosier, and the Wolfpack quickly up 4-0 on Cassadaga Valley through the top half of the third. We're getting ready to start the bottom of the third here. And through those 3 innings defensively, really some solid pitching from Bryce Hinsdale. He has 8 strikeouts. He's given up 1 hit and 1 walk so far. He's thrown 51 pitches through 3 innings. His opponent, Crowell, threw 51 pitches through 2 innings as they have their infield conference on the mound, and he will pitch first here in the third to take Katniss, the 3-hitter, with Andrew Spiesman on deck. The Wolfpack manufacturing runs in different ways. They had a single from Hinsdale in the first, and then a couple walks and a hit by pitch that have manufactured base runners, and a bunch of steals and errors have scored them. So far, I have scored 4 errors against Cassadaga Valley in this game. First pitch is outside for ball 1.
Good eye, Tate.
Tate, a patient batter, we know this. He's taking several walks, including 1 back in the first. He's ahead 1-0 here. That one outside for ball 2. To Katniss. Inside, and then the count goes to 3-0. Kroll have to try to dig himself out of the 3-0 hole. Here's the pitch. Tate takes a swing at that one down in the dirt, and the count goes to 3-1. 3-1 count after that. We'll call it a desperation swing. Katniss ready now. Kroll's pitch. Tate gets a piece of it. Going to get fielded by the shortstop on the bounce. The throw to first is not in time and is overthrown. Katniss there safely. There will be a single, not an error. And that'll bring up Andrew Spiesman. So Katniss on first and Spiesman at the plate. Spiesman struck out back in the first. First pitch to him. Outside for ball 1. Katniss thought about it, but he goes back to first. The throw to first, not in time, has actually hit him as he was on the bag.
All right, Spiesman, let's go, buddy.
Andrew Spiesman back in the box now. Kroll. He'll throw to him. Over Spiesman's head for ball number 2. To Spiesman. Checks the runner and steps off. Kroll now back on the mound. And now we'll see the 2-0 to Spiesman. Outside. Katniss takes off and he'll get to second safely. And the count is 3-0. So now a runner in scoring position for Spiesman. Bunch of RBIs the last couple weeks, or last couple weeks, I guess, last couple games. And he'll step in here with an opportunity to add another one to his tally for the season. Kroll's pitch. Right down Main Street, and it's 3-1. So now a 3-1 count, and the green light probably given back to Spiesman now. Here's the pitch. He takes that one for ball 4. And that'll bring up Isaiah Burkholder with 2 on and no out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Timeout called by Casadega. They're going to have a quick visit with the mound. And Kroll actually coming off the mound to meet his coach halfway. Their whole infield will join them. And the Wolfpack quickly getting some runners back on the bases here in the 3rd. And in the 1st and the 2nd, that worked out for them with some stolen bases and some errors. And again, recapping 4-0 Wolfpack. They have achieved that by 1 hit prior to this inning. A walk, 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and 4 errors. In the 3rd, a single and a walk so far. So kind of more of the same so far here in the 3rd. Meanwhile, really great pitching coming from Bryce Hinsdale. 3 strikeouts in the 1st, 3 strikeouts in the 2nd, 2 strikeouts in the 3rd, and of course the help of that ground ball to second base, where Johnny Abers quickly got it over to 1st to put away that runner. And we'll see what happens here with the pitching situation here for Casadega. Change going to be made. They will change pitchers here. First pitch. Number 15 will take over the pitching duties. That's Testa. So Testa, the 3rd baseman prior to about 30 seconds ago, will take over the pitching duties. They done for Kroll. He goes 2 innings. He had 5 strikeouts. Gave up 2 singles and 3 walks. And they score 4 runs on him. He's responsible for both runners aboard, Spiesman and Katniss. It's not a great line for Kroll and didn't get very far. And now they'll go to Testa, the tall 3rd baseman turned pitcher. Pitches the ball from a 3/4 slot position that is a really high release. His hand's way up over his head when he releases. And his warm-up pitches are done. The infield retakes their positions.
All right, Burkholder. You seen it, buddy. Take this one for a ride.
And Isaiah Burkholder will step in with 2 aboard here in the 3rd to face the new pitcher, Testa. First pitch, swung on and missed by Burkholder. Testa back on the mound now. Checks the runners. He's ready for the 0-1 pitch. There it is. Swung on and missed by Burkholder. Both runners will take off on the wild pitch, and they will both be safe. So now runners on 2nd and 3rd for Burkholder, but he's behind 0-2. Testa not throwing nearly as hard as the previous pitcher, Kroll. Here's the pitch. Strikeout. That's a called strike in the top outside corner. And Burkholder goes back to the dugout. That brings up Brady Phelps. I think the Wolfpack trying to adjust to the speed change here, as Testa's pitching significantly slower than the previous pitcher, Kroll. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, and Phelps at the plate. First pitch to him inside for ball 1. Brady, the left fielder, back in the box now. The 1-0 from Testa. Swung on, and he'll foul that off down the left field line.
Nice cut, buddy.
Good contact there from Phelps, just a little bit early, and he sends that one just foul. And again, trying to adjust to the speed of this pitcher is going to be a little bit of a kind of task for the Wolfpack here, as they're used to probably about a 15-mile-an-hour difference from the first pitcher to the second. Testa ready for the 1-1 to Phelps. There's the pitch. Way inside for ball 2. Testa getting set now for the 2-1. Here's the pitch. Phelps takes a big cut at that one, and he misses. Count goes to 2-2. Strike there, and Brady Phelps goes down.
All right, Howie.
That'll bring up Caleb Anderson with 2 out and 2 on here in the third. So since the pitching change, Testa struck out 2, even though he's throwing, like I said, 15 or so miles an hour slower than Kroll was. That pitch, high for ball 1. Anderson struck out back in the second. Here's the pitch. Ball 2. Mason Moore on deck for the Wolfpack. 2 on here. That's Spiesman at second and Cadney's at third. And Anderson ahead 2-0 in the count. He gets a piece of that one. It's going to get past the shortstop. That one will score 2 runs. A 2 RBI single from Caleb Anderson. 2 RBIs quickly there as the Wolfpack takes advantage of the 2 runners being on base at the pitching change, and Testa is not responsible for those 2 runs. 6-0 now the score. Mason Moore, big swing at the first offering from Testa, and he misses. It's 0-1. Johnny Abers on deck for the Wolfpack. 0-1 to Moore. Outside, and it's 1-1. Anderson goes to second without any throw thanks to the wild pitch. One now for Moore. Pitch is outside for ball 2. Anderson thinks about it. He'll head back to second. Anderson probably would have had an easy base there, but he hesitated and decided to go back instead. So the 2-1 now to Moore. 2 outs here in the third. He'll step off and check the runner. So 2 runs here for the Wolfpack. Again, manufacturing them different ways. A single from Catney's, a walk for Spiesman. There's a pitch that's hit by Moore, fielded by the shortstop. The throw to first is going to get past the first baseman, and now there'll be runners on the corner for the Wolfpack. So Moore reaches by error.
All right, Johnny.
And that'll bring up Johnny Abers. Abers hit by pitch back in the second. He'll have a runner in scoring position and Anderson on third. And Moore on first as well. Takes a big cut at that one and comes up empty 0-1. Abers 0 for on the season. Trying to get his first hit here. He steps out, checks with his coach, and now he's back in the box. Here's the second pitch to him. High for ball 1. And it's 1-1 for Abers. Takes that. That's the second strike. Moore advances to second. No throw from the catcher. So a stolen base there for Mason Moore. Here's the pitch from Testa. Swung on. Abers. The ball pops out of the third baseman's glove. He will be safe at first. A run comes home, and Moore advances to third.
Way to go, Howie.
And I'm not sure how we'll score that Abers hit. It's probably an error on the third baseman. But this is high school baseball. I'm going to call it a hit for my record book, and we'll see what they call it in the official book. If it was pro or college, it's definitely an error on the third baseman. That ball came in pretty hot, and the third baseman was able to knock it down but couldn't make the play. Burchinowski up to bat now. Abers takes off. He'll be safe at second. So now 2 runners in scoring position for Burchinowski. Gavin a chance to extend this lead even further. Takes a late swing at that one, and that's strike one.
Gavin, keep your head on it, bud. You got it.
7-0 Wolfpack here in the third. 2 outs, 2 on, and Burchinowski at the plate. He struck out in the first, reached by error in the second. Takes a big cut at that outside pitch, and it's not there, and the count goes to 1-2.
All right, Gavin. Come on, buddy. You got to protect here, kid.
Gavin Burchinowski trying to add on to this 7-0 lead. Testa's set. Here's the pitch. Inside for ball 2. Burchinowski. Now 2-2. Here's Testa's pitch outside, and the count goes full. So a full count to Burchinowski with runners on second and third. 2 outs here in the third. Burchinowski trying to keep this rally going. Here's the pitch outside, and they'll load the bases.
All right, Hinsdale.
And you load the bases for the most dangerous hitter on the team. Bryce Hinsdale, he reached by a single back in the first. He ground out in the second. And now we'll be up here in the third. He's hitting something like .525 on the year right now. Runners on every bag, 2 outs. Testa's first pitch way over his head. Nobody's going. It did get past Swanson, but Swanson was able to pop back up with the ball fast enough to hold Moore at third. Hinsdale now back in the box. The lefty has bases loaded here in the third, but there's also 2 outs. And he calls time. Now we're ready to go again. The 1-0 to Hinsdale. Way outside. Two-0 to Hinsdale. Outside. And the count goes to 3-0. Testa throws way outside to Hinsdale. He'll walk him. And the Wolfpack is now going all the way through their lineup. Katniss up for the second time this inning. His first time was a single. That was the leadoff hit for the inning. He gets a huge piece of that one back over the backstop. And Tate's behind 0-1 with bases loaded. $8-0 Wolfpack. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the third. Testa throws outside for ball 1. Oh, called strike. That one was further outside than a lot of the balls he's called earlier, so got ahead of myself, not waiting for the umpire to make his call. 0-2 now to Katniss. The pitch, he swings on it. He's going to get a piece of that one to third. They will get the play at third, and that'll end the inning. So that ground out ends the inning, but not before the Wolfpack score 4. And lead 8-0 here after 3. We'll take a quick word from our sponsor before we get to the 4th inning.
Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning are the premier sponsors of Clymer Sherman softball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream. Located at 147 East Main Street in Corry, they offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. We thank Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning for their support.
Clymer Sherman softball coverage is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse. Now open for the season, Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolves from Troyer's Greenhouse.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
Clymer Sherman softball coverage is brought to you in part by Triple E Manufacturing and Design. Triple E Manufacturing and Design offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. Located at 117 Osborne Street in Sherman and at tripleemfg.com. Phone 800-295-4282. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Triple E Manufacturing and Design for their support.
Welcome back in here to Clymer, New York, as the CSP Wolfpack off to a very commanding start, leading 8-0. And Bryce Hinsdale getting ready to pitch the fourth inning to Casadega's three-hitter Hayward. He struck out back in the first. Hayward in the box now and ready to get this fourth inning underway. Bryce's first pitch to him fouled off to the right side. Hayward, the shortstop, back in the box now. And as always, Bryce working quickly on the mound. Here's the next pitch. High for ball 2. 1-1 now the count. Bryce's pitch. Swung on, hit right back at him. He fields it cleanly, fires to first, and the batter is retired. Kroll, the pitcher now. I guess he started as the pitcher. He's now moved on to third base. Kroll struck out back in the first. There's the first pitch to him. High for ball 1. There's a pitch. Outside for ball 2. And it's 2-0 to Kroll. The pitch outside but swung on for strike 1. And it's 2-1. One away here in the fourth for Casadega. That one hit right back to Hinsdale and he snatches it out of the air. 2 outs. 2 outs, both of them made by Hinsdale. He starts off the game with 8 Ks, and then in here in the fourth has made 2 great plays in the field. He's now pitching to Olmsted, the first baseman, and the first pitch is a strike. Olmsted struck out back in the second. This pitch high and outside, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1-1 for Olmsted. 2 down already here in the fourth. That pitch outside for ball 2. Burchanowski gets a new ball for Hinsdale. And now we'll see the 2-1 pitch. Hit by Olmsted towards short. Fielded there. Here's the throw to first. In time to retire the side. Nice play there, and the Wolfpack maintain their lead. 3 up, 3 down for Casadega. We'll take another quick word from our sponsor here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
Support for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent, serving the Wolfpack listening area and all of Chautauqua County with real estate services for buyers, sellers, vacation rentals, and all relocation needs. For more information on how to get your move going, Tina can be reached at 716-397-7790.
Where do my friends and other students find their voice? We find our voice through the performing arts, along with millions of other high school students. By expressing yourself in a role on stage, through an instrument, or at the debate podium, the performing arts give us freedom to find ourselves, to find our place. The stage is where I can play, perform, and compete with my friends.
Performing arts at your school is where creativity meets courage. Encourage the students in your life to find their voice through the performing arts.
8-0 Wolfpack here in Clymer as we get ready to start the bottom of the fourth inning. Andrew Spiesman will be the leadoff batter for the Pack with Isaiah Burkholder and Brady Phelps due up. That's 4, 5, 6 batters for the Pack, who have gotten it done a lot of ways today, including 5 errors on Casadega and hit by pitch, a couple of walks, a couple singles. Pretty much every way you can move a batter, they've done it except for a bunt at this point. And Spiesman will look to try to keep the offense going for the Pack as they lead 8-0 here. Testa will pitch this inning as well for Casadega after coming in relief in the last inning. All right, we're ready to get it going here in the fourth. Spiesman steps in. Testa gets his sign, and here's the pitch. Called strike one. 0-1 to Spiesman. Testa's pitch. Called strike two in the top of the zone. And Spiesman's quickly behind 0-2 here. And again, I mentioned last inning that Testa was pitching. Wolfpack trying to adjust to the speed difference as he's throwing much slower than the previous pitcher. Here's the 0-2. Way outside. Spiesman takes a cut. He gets past the catcher. Swanson finally gathers up the ball. The throw to first is in time, and they will send Spiesman to the dugout. Burkholder now, as Isaiah's 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout in the first and the third. He'll try to change that here in the fourth. Here's the first pitch to him. He gets a piece of it, fouls it down the right field side. And Burkholder behind 0-1 now. And we'll see a quick time for the second baseman to tie his shoe. We're good now, and it's time to get back to baseball. 8-0 Wolfpack, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Burkholder behind 0-1. That pitch inside for ball one. Testa ready now. The 1-1 to Burkholder. Swung on and missed. Wolfpack ahead 8-0. The 1-2 to Burkholder is a ball. And it's 2-2. Pitch swung on, hit down the third base line is foul. Burkholder reached up for that one. It was almost like a slow pitch softball hit. And it bounced once in play and then rolled outside the baseline. He'll come back to the batter's box in a 2-2 count. Burkholder ready for the 2-2. Testa set. Here's the pitch. High, and the count goes full. Testa, who started the game at third base, came on in the third inning. Full pitch. Here's the payoff pitch, and fouled off by Burkholder. So a 6-pitch at bat already. Let's see what pitch number 7 can do. Payoff pitch again. Called strike on the outside edge. And there's 2 away here in the 4th. Brady Phelps due up now, the left fielder. Caleb Anderson on deck for the Wolfpack. Through 4 innings, 61 pitches thrown by Bryce Hinsdale. He's been working very efficiently. Testa, first pitch to Phelps over his head for ball 1. Testa was at 22 pitches just in his first inning. When they pulled Kroll, he was at 61 total pitches through 3 innings. That pitch an outside strike, and it's 1-1 to Brady Phelps. Here's the pitch. Phelps lets that one come in high for ball 2. And it's 2-1. Testa's pitch. Swung on. Phelps gets a nice piece of that one. It's going to fall in there for a hit into left field. He will turn the corner and head for second. And will be there with a stand-up double. Very nice piece of hitting there, and sent that one for a nice ride over there to left field. He walked back in the second, struck out in the third, and now he is doubled here in the 4th. That'll bring up Caleb Anderson. He singled back in the third and struck out in the second. He'll have an opportunity to improve his stats with the at-bat and a runner in scoring position. That's Brady Phelps. 2 out. Phelps on second. Here's the first pitch to Anderson. And he fouls that one off to the right side. So Anderson, he faced Testa once already and struck out to him on 5 pitches. Maybe now adjusted to the speed difference, and we'll have a little bit different approach this time around. I'm sorry, that was Phelps who struck out to him. Anderson had a single off of him. That pitch is outside. Kind of goes to 1-1. So Phelps did strike out to Testa the first time, but now doubles off of him. Anderson singled off of Testa back in the third on 3 pitches, and now he's in a 1-1 count. He'll throw to second instead with Testa, and Phelps is back in plenty of time. Testa back on the mound now. 1-1 still the count. 2 out, 1 on second. 8-0 Wolfpack. Swung on, a nice piece of hitting there. Going to get through to left field. And Phelps has got the green light. He's heading for the plate. The throw is behind him. He will score easily. Now they'll make a throw, a wild throw into the outfield, trying to get the runner at second. And he will advance to at least third. And they'll hold him up there, but not before. A really nice piece of hitting from Caleb Anderson. So now 9-0 Wolfpack, and Mason Moore at the plate. Mason struck out in the second and reached by error in the third. First pitch to Moore, way outside for ball 1. So Anderson on third. Gives Mason Moore an opportunity for an RBI here. 1-0 to Moore. Inside, and the count is 2-0. Johnny Abers on deck discussing during the break. I'm still calling it a hit in the third inning. We'll see if that stands. Here's the next pitch to Moore. He swings on and hits it up high towards center field. The second baseman calling for it, and he will retire the side. But not before the Wolfpack add another and extend their lead to 9-0. We'll take another word from our sponsor here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning are the premier sponsors of Clymer Sherman softball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream. Located at 147 East Main Street in Corry, they offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. We thank Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning for their support of Wolves softball coverage.
Support for coverage on the Channel 98.9
Utegg. Utegg's Body Shop in Corry is helping to bring you this broadcast. Along with collision repair and refinishing, Utegg offers frame straightening services. Located at 633 East Smith Street in Corry. Utegg's Body Shop.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game.
And welcome back into a 9-0 lead for the Wolfpack here in Clymer as we are through 4 innings and the start of the 5th about to be underway here. And the first batter will be the pitcher for Cassadaga Valley, the 6-hitter, Testa, as he struck out back in the 2nd and will now lead off the 5th here for the Cougars. 8 strikeouts so far for Bryce Hinsdale. That first pitch is outside for ball 1. 8 strikeouts, 2 nice plays in the field last inning. There's a strike, and the count goes to 1-1. 61 pitches going into this inning for Bryce. The 1-1 swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. 1-2 count for Testa. That one's outside, and the count is 2-2. Bryce still bringing the heat here in the 5th. There's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and he'll sit down Testa. His 9th K of the game. There's a hand on the center fielder now. He struck out in the 2nd. And Coach Hare wants to have a chat with Bryce Hinsdale. And he is going to say, that's it for you today, Bryce. And they're going to get somebody else to pitch. And this is a smart play here. Bryce is only at 65 pitches. You save him for another day with more baseball coming over the next couple days. .66 the total pitch count for Bryce as they pull him here. And Tate Katniss looks to take over. So Bryce will have gone 4 1/3. Gave up just 1 hit. That was the double back in the 3rd to Swanson. Gave up just 1 walk and had 9 Ks. So Katniss will get his chance to throw now. And again, it's tough to manage pitching when all your games get crammed together 3 or 4 days in a row. And so this is an opportunity for them to get a couple different guys an opportunity to throw the ball and not get the pitch counts run up too high that they have to go deep into their bullpen later next week. Johnny Avers moves over to shortstop. Mason Groders to 2nd. And Bryce Hinsdale to first base. And we're ready to get it going here. Katniss will face Zahan, and the first pitch to him is good for ball 1. Zahan, the center fielder, struck out back in the second. That pitch inside for ball 2. Tate throwing hard here, but behind 2-0. Nice pitch there for the first strike of the at-bat, and it's 2-1. Katniss. And that one's hit towards center. Burkholder tracking makes the easy catch. And that's the second out of the inning. Brown, the left fielder, will be the next batter for the Cougars. Brown struck out back in the third. He now comes up with 2 outs in the 5th. Swing and a miss there, and I think he got the umpire. Umpire took it off his arm there, and he's going to take a minute to walk that one off. So a 9-0 baseball game. Really good outing for Bryce Hinsdale. 4.1 innings, 9 Ks, 1 walk, 1 hit, no runs. Meanwhile, the Wolfpack have used every means necessary except for bunt to tally their 9 scores so far. Still waiting for the umpire to get started over there, having a little bit of water, trying to rein himself in after that came off his arm, and I might have got him in the face too, I'm not sure. Shaking his right arm. And the other opportunity for the Wolfpack to communicate a little bit, so Burchanowski out having a chat with his pitcher. And the umpire now appears to be okay, and I think we'll get this thing back underway. A 9-0 ball game. And the Wolfpack looking to tally on enough here to get this thing over quickly. They're scheduled to play Friday, Saturday at this point. So by pulling Hinsdale, he now becomes eligible for if not both of those games, I believe. I'm sure Katniss here will be the Saturday starter. Next pitch, outside for ball 1. And it's 1-1 to Brown. Here's the pitch. Brown swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Brown behind 1-2 with 2 outs here in the 5th. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and he'll go down swinging. And that'll end the 5th inning. Wolfpack leads 9-0 here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Financial support for this broadcast of CSP Baseball Play-by-Play on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Stone Audiology at 709 East Columbus Avenue in Corry. Also in Bradford, Northeast, and Kane, Pennsylvania. In Jamestown, Olean, Belmont, and Chaffee, New York. Phone 814-664-7070. Online at stoneaudiology.com.
CSP Wolfpack Baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse, now open for the season Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolfpack from Troyer's Greenhouse.
Coverage of Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Whiteland Surveying in Clymer, providing land surveys for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in New York and Erie, Warren, and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania. Phone 716-499-8410. Find them online at mwhitepls.com. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Whiteland Surveying for their support.
And welcome back into a beautiful sunny day here in Clymer, New York, where the Wolfpack lead 9-0. And Cassadaga Valley has been able to get absolutely nothing going offensively. Hinsdale gets pulled after 4 1/3. Catneys comes on in relief. That'll keep Hinsdale able to be pitching the next outing here for the Wolfpack. And the leadoff batter for the Wolfpack here in the 5th will be Johnny Abers. Johnny did get a board back in the 3rd. Actually, he got a board both in the 2nd and the 3rd. The 2nd on a hit by pitch. In the 3rd, a hit to the 3rd baseman that took a bounce and bounced off the 3rd baseman's chest. I'm calling it a single. It's probably an error, but because Johnny hasn't had a hit yet this year, we'll call it a single, at least for today on the radio, and say he got his first hit of the season. Johnny will step in here now in the 5th, and an opportunity to extend the 9-0 lead. First pitch to him, way outside for ball 1. The 1-0 to Abers. Swung on, he gets a nice piece of that right back up the middle. And that will be another base hit for Johnny Abers.
All right, Gavin, here you go, bud.
So whether or not the one in the 3rd was a hit or an error, doesn't matter now. Johnny's aboard with his first single of the season. Either way, and with a runner on first, back to the top of the Wolfpack lineup, and Gavin Burchanowski. Burchanowski struck out in the 1st, reached by error in the 2nd, and walked in the 3rd. This pitch way outside. Abers takes off for 2nd. The throw is high, and he's in there safely. So Abers safe at 2nd. He'll lead off from there. And the 1-0 to Burchanowski. That one hits him. And Gavin reaches by hit by pitch. And that puts 2 runners on for the ever-dangerous Bryce Hinsdale. Bryce, a single in the 1st, a ground out in the 2nd, and a walk in the 3rd. He'll have his 4th at bat of the day here in the 5th inning. Runners on 1st and 2nd for Bryce. First pitch to the lefty way outside for ball 1. Johnny Abers doing a good job of distracting the pitcher Testa, taking nice size leads but not overcommitting. That pitch outside for ball 2. 2-0 now to Hinsdale. Testa's pitch. Swung on, and it gets right past him. It's going to be ate up by the shortstop. They'll make a play at 2nd, but Bryce is safe. So Burchanowski will be out at 2nd on the fielder's choice. And Tate Catneys now.
Got a couple ribbies here, bud.
So the fielder's choice gets Hinsdale on board. Runners on the corners and 1 out for Tate Catneys. First pitch to Tate, way outside, and Hinsdale's safe at 2nd. 2 in scoring position now for Tate. Next pitch to him again, way outside, and it's 2-0. Testa trying to be careful and not throw anything down the middle here to this 2-3-4 hitters of Hinsdale, Catneys, and Spiesman. He's behind 2-0 to Tate. Testa's pitch. Swing and a miss by Tate there. And he really wanted to turn on that pitch, was way out in front of it. The Wolfpack still continues to try to adjust to the slow speed that Testa is using. 2-1 now. Here's the pitch. Fouled off by Tate. And it's 2-2. 1 out. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. A 9-0 lead for the Wolfpack. Here's Testa's pitch. Tate hits it in play. Slow roller to 2nd. Fielded on the run. And they try to come home with it well after the runner is safe. Abers scores. Make the score 10-0. And that is the end of the game with the 10-run rule. The Wolfpack gets the job done with that Johnny Abers score on the single from Tate Catney's. And the Wolfpack will win here 10-0. A really solid effort from the entire Wolfpack. But the Bats got the job done. And Bryce Hinsdale got the job done on the mound. 9 Ks, 1 walk, 1 hit. And the Wolfpack continue to get it done here after the first couple games were a little rough, as they now are poised for a big weekend of baseball and sit at the top 2 of the CCAA Division II. Congratulations to the Wolfpack on the 10-0 win tonight over Casadega. We're back tomorrow with a softball doubleheader. Well, we'll call it a doubleheader. It's Chautauqua Lake Clymer Sherman on the 98.9 Sports Stream. The final inning of the first game, a weather-delayed game, and then we will have a second game immediately after. Then Friday, more baseball here on the 98.9 Sports Stream. Saturday, more baseball and the State Line Speedway Pit Road Show brought to you by Koenig Automotive. We'll see you in all those events on the 98.9 Sports Stream. Congrats to the Wolfpack on the win tonight. This has been Josh Hosier. Have a great night.
Thanks for listening to this broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. Tune in next time for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball.